Humanity is witnessing a transformative revolution that touches all aspects of life. Amazing advances in science and technology, incredible development in communication and digital transformation. Yet, ironically, despite the incredible stride we made, they did not reflect on how we deal with each other, where we still cling to the ethos of the past. Over 70 conflicts are currently ongoing. Violence is raging in many parts of the world. Poverty and obscene inequality are endemic. The existential threats of environmental degradation and weapons of mass destruction remains a Damocles sword hanging over our collective fate. In parallel to these and other threats that respect no borders and can only be addressed through international cooperation, our multilateral system is decaying with diminishing authority and resources. 2 decades after the end of the Cold War, there is a rising tension and confrontation between the 3 major powers on a range of issues, from security in Europe and Asia to competition over spheres of influence. Absent is cooperation to stop wars, provide humanitarian assistance to people dying of hunger, or doing what it takes to save our environment. In the Korean Peninsula, one of the highly militarized borders, with the added threat of nuclear weapons and ballistic missiles, a fragile truce remains in place since the 50s. Unfortunately, all these efforts produce very little outcome. This makes the 2022 UPF World Summit all that more important and timely. The think tank 2022 Rally of Hope, assembling leading experts worldwide to explore how to bring about the peaceful reunification of the Korean Peninsula, is also quite encouraging. Negotiations normally take place between governments. Increasingly, however, non-governmental or so-called Track 2 initiatives have succeeded in laying the groundwork for official negotiation through civil society dialogue, cultural exchange, humanitarian relief, and other means. The UPF has sought to promote ties between the Korean people through its various activities in order to reinforce and bolster official contact. This is a welcome development. I hope that dialogue between the 2 Koreas will continue away from geopolitical competition. We are living in a time of grave existential threats, and yet we are doubling down on confrontation and on building more weapons. We keep saying we need to build back better, but in my view, this will not happen unless we change our mindset. We need first to internalize that whatever our ethnic, religious, linguistic, ideological, or other differences may be, we are at the end one human family, and that what unites us is far greater than what divides us. We have no option other than finding a way to live together and accept one another on the basis of equality, respect, and human solidarity. Our life journey is not a zero-sum game. There is no winners, no losers. We have become one connected world where one part cannot be quarantined from the other. We ought to have learned from the recent experience of the pandemic. Cooperation is no longer a matter of choice. The major threats we face can only be addressed through international cooperation, making it just like the responsibility to protect a moral imperative and a necessity for survival. At the center of this imperative to cooperate is the need to establish a new international security system that is inclusive and equitable. The existing system, which assumed that some elite states could rely on nuclear weapons while denying them to everyone else, is unjust and unsustainable, let alone being a constant threat to our very existence. In my 2005 Nobel lecture, I asked everyone to, quote, imagine what would happen if the nations of the world spent as much on development as they spend on building the machines of war. Imagine a world in which we could shed the same tears when a child dies in Darfur or Vancouver. Imagine a world where we would settle our differences through diplomacy and dialogue, and not through bombs and bullets. Imagine if only nuclear weapons remaining were the relics in our museums. Let's work together to turn this vision into a reality. Thank you very much.